Some words touch the body. The right ones, they touch the man. Let that one sit with you for a second, my friends, because we've been lied to. Because let's face it, during intimacy, the world trained us to whisper cliches like harder or faster, like they're the only buttons on a man's body. But let me tell you something real, and I say this with love. You were made to speak to his soul, not just his skin. We're about to have a grown, flirty, soul-level conversation today. This isn't about seduction for performance, and this is about language that lingers. Words that don't just leave a man satisfied, they leave him changed. Now, before we dive in, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and if this kind of content feeds your spirit the way it's meant to, drop this in the comments right now. My words awaken him, because I pour my soul into this, and your voice, your presence here makes this space sacred. All right. Hey, ladies, imagine this. You're standing in front of a man who's fully open to you, not just with his hands, not just with his body, but with his heart. His eyes are on you. His breath syncs with yours. And in that moment, he doesn't need a performance. He needs permission to let go, to stop being strong, to stop guessing what you want, and finally feel seen for who he is under all that armor. And then you whisper something unexpected, not loud, not rehearsed, just a soft phrase that slips past his mind and lands in his chest. And it stops him, not because it's sexy, but because it's safe. And for the first time in a long time, this man, this warrior, this leader, this protector melts. Because what you said reached the boy in him, the man in him, the soul in him. See, we live in a world obsessed with performance. Touch this, say that, do it like her. But real intimacy isn't about doing more. It's about saying less and meaning everything. A real man, he doesn't need a cheerleader, and he needs a witness. And the words you speak during those sacred moments, whether whispered in the dark or murmured against his neck, have the power to either pull him closer to you or push him back into hiding. So today we're unlocking 8 phrases that sound simple, but when spoken with intention, energy, and presence, they reach parts of a man he didn't even know were starving. And no, it's not about manipulation, and it's about magnetism, not dirty talk for attention, but sacred talk that awakens his memory of love, of softness, of home. This is your power, my friend, to speak life, to hold space, and to remind him he's not just wanted, he's safe. So say it with me now. Say it bold in the comments. My words awaken him, because they will. And what we're about to break down, it's going to shift the way you speak to your man forever. Let's go deeper. Stay with me. Number 1, I feel safe with you. Most men are praised for being strong, but rarely told it's safe to be soft. And when you say this, I feel safe with you, you're not just making a statement, you're offering a sanctuary. Let's get real for a second, my friends. This one doesn't sound like a line from a movie. It's not dripping in flirt. It's not suggestive. And maybe part of you is tempted to skip past it because you're thinking, that's it? Just those 5 words? But let me tell you what happens when you whisper them in the right moment. Everything stops. He exhales, not just from his lungs, but from his soul. Because here's the truth. Even the most confident man, the one who walks tall, speaks slow, leads others, he's still carrying weight. Weight from childhood, weight from expectations, weight from a world that told him he has to earn love through performance, protection, or pretending nothing ever hurts. Now imagine this. You're lying with him, no distractions, just breath, skin, presence. You reach up, look him in the eye, and say it, not as a performance, but as a revelation. I feel safe with you. And in that moment, you just gave him something the world never has. You gave him peace. It's not about physical protection, although yes, he loves that you trust him in that way. But this is emotional undressing. This is the moment where you tell him, I don't need a mask, I'm not guarded, I'm not afraid. And that hits different. That's the shift from just pleasure to presence. Now, I know what some of you might ask, but won't that sound too serious? Too soft? Too much? No, not to a man who's truly present, not to a man who sees you as more than a body. In fact, it'll shake him more than anything you've ever whispered before. Because let me tell you something Carl Jung once said. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. When you tell a man he makes you feel safe, you're not just reflecting his power. You're honoring his depth. You're inviting him to become who he truly is. Not the strong one, not the fixer, not the performer, but the one who is enough as he is. And don't underestimate what this does inside him. That phrase becomes a memory, not just of your body, but of the moment he was trusted. Because when a man feels that level of emotional safety, he doesn't forget it. He doesn't run from it. He remembers it, he replays it, and he returns to the woman who gave it. So the next time you're in that sacred space and you feel held, seen, connected, say it. Not with fear, not with force, but with that soft feminine power that lives in your bones. Look at him, breathe with him, and say, I feel safe with you. It might sound simple, but to his soul, it's a revelation. Number 2, don't rush. I want all of this. A man only rushes when he feels like love is a test he might fail. So when you lean in close, let your breath touch his neck and whisper, don't rush. I want all of this. You're not just slowing down the moment. You're stripping away the pressure he didn't even know he was carrying. Because here's the secret, my friends. Most men don't make love from a place of confidence. They make love from a place of pressure. Pressure to impress, to perform, to make sure you're satisfied before you even have time to breathe. And while their intentions might be good, that pressure becomes a wall, a mask. It disconnects them from presence. But when you say this, don't rush, with your voice soft, your energy calm, and your truth leading the way, you give him permission to stop performing. You give him the green light to feel. It's like turning off the spotlight and lighting a candle instead. Imagine this. He's kissing you, holding you, moving fast, not because he's in a hurry, but because he's stuck in a pattern. Then you pause. Look up at him with that slow smile and say, don't rush. I want all of this. And everything shifts. His shoulders drop. His breathing slows. His focus shifts from trying to be good to being with you. Because in that moment, you didn't just affirm his touch, you affirmed him. You reminded him that love isn't a race, it's a rhythm. And he's finally allowed to move with you, not ahead of you. This one line says, I'm not here for a checklist. I'm here for connection. It says, take your time. I'm not going anywhere. And for a man with a heart to give, that's where he melts. That's when his walls fall. That's when you go from attraction to intimacy. So speak it gently, let it land like music, and watch what happens when his body finally relaxes into yours, not to perform, but to belong. And what's coming next is the line that lets him know he's already doing something so right. Let's keep going. Number 3, I love when you do that. Affirmation is the rhythm that makes a man stay in sync with your soul. And when you say it, soft, intentional, without hesitation, I love when you do that. You don't just boost his confidence, you anchor his presence. And let me tell you something, my friends. Men don't need constant praise, but they do crave direction that feels like intimacy, not instruction. There's a difference between you should do this, and I love when you do that. One feels like homework. The other feels like home. Imagine him exploring you, slowly, thoughtfully, and maybe even a little unsure. He's reading your body, trying to sense what you're feeling, but then you let out a soft exhale. You curl into him just a little more, and with that whisper of breath, you say, I love when you do that. And right there, that man will lock in, not because he's trying to win, but because you just confirmed he's connected. You didn't correct him. You didn't coach him. You simply offered him the most powerful kind of feedback there is, affirmation wrapped in desire. Because here's the secret. Men are not mind readers. Even the most attentive lovers second guess themselves sometimes. And when you leave them in the dark, they don't feel powerful. They feel like they're performing blindfolded. But when you speak up gently, honestly, lovingly, they don't just follow your words. They feel them. Carl Jung said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. And this phrase, it creates that reaction. It creates chemistry that's conscious, because when he knows what's working, he'll do more than repeat it. He'll build with it, shape the moment with you, create a rhythm that's yours. So say it often. Say it with your breath, say it with your smile. I love when you do that. It's not just praise, and it's a pulse, a heartbeat he'll want to follow again and again. And what we're about to say next, It's not about what he's doing. It's about where you are with him in the moment. Let's keep going. Number 4, I'm right here with you. A man's deepest fear in intimacy isn't rejection. It's feeling alone while he's with you. And when you whisper, I'm right here with you, you silence that fear. This one, my friends, it's subtle, but it's powerful. Because in the middle of passion, in the chaos of breath and heartbeat and body, what most people don't realize is presence can disappear. You can be close and still feel far. You can be touching and still be in your head. And a man can feel that. He may not say it, he may not even understand it, but when your energy starts drifting, thinking, worrying, comparing, he senses it and he starts wondering, did I lose her? Is she here with me or is she performing? But when you look at him calm, grounded, and soft, and you say, I'm right here with you, you bring him back. You pull him into presence, not just physically, but energetically. And here's the beauty. This phrase doesn't just comfort him, it brings you back too. It's a soul reminder that you're not here to impress. You're not here to hit some perfect note. You're here to feel, to be, to connect. Imagine being in the middle of that sacred moment, his hands on you, his breath tangled with yours. And instead of overthinking it, you ground your energy, lean into his chest, and let your voice drop into a whisper, I'm right here with you. That's the moment everything softens, the moment the noise leaves the room, and the moment he realizes you're not just letting him in, you're showing up fully. Carl Jung once said, loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important. And this phrase, this is your communication, and this is how you tell him, this isn't just a moment, this is us, I'm present, I'm with you. Say it when you notice him starting to drift. Say it when you feel the connection thickening. Say it when you're so present, it almost feels sacred. I'm right here with you. It's grounding, it's gentle, it's unforgettable. And what's coming next is the phrase that lets him know, without question, he's enough, just as he is. Let's keep going. Number 5, stay right there. When a woman leads with softness, a man listens with his soul. And when you say, stay right there, in that low knowing tone, you're not giving direction. You're giving devotion. My friends, don't underestimate how powerful these 3 words are. Because to a man who's present with you, every breath, every touch, every movement, it's a question. Is this working? Is she feeling this? Am I reaching her? He's tuned in, even if he doesn't say it. And when you meet that moment with a whisper, stay right there. You just gave him the answer. Not with logic, but with energy, with affirmation, with emotional alignment. It's not control, it's guidance with grace. You didn't interrupt, you didn't correct. You leaned in and told him, what you're doing right now, it's exactly what I need. And that, my friend, gives a man confidence that no loud praise ever could. Think of it like a slow song, 2 dancers, and no one's counting steps. You're just moving with each other, feeling the rhythm. And then one of you leans in and whispers, don't change a thing. That's what this phrase is. It's the invitation to stay in flow, to keep dancing exactly the way he's dancing. Because he's in sync with you, because you're feeling it. Not just tolerating it, not just enduring it, but loving it. And Carl Jung said, the meeting of 2 souls is like the contact of 2 chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. And this phrase, it's the confirmation that the reaction is happening, that you're not just there, you're with him. And when a man hears that, he slows down, he goes deeper, he stays longer, because he knows he's not guessing anymore, he's giving. So say it gently, let your breath carry it, and let your body echo it. Stay right there. It's not about control, and it's about chemistry that's conscious. And what we're about to say next isn't about his body at all, it's about how you see him. Let's keep going. Number 6, I love looking at you. Most men are starved for admiration. They've just learned never to ask for it. And when you look at him, not just glance, not just peek, but really see him in that moment, and you say, I love looking at you. You're not complimenting his body. You're awakening his soul. Because let's be honest, my friends, when was the last time he heard that? Not you're hot, not you're fine, but something genuine and something said with reverence, said in a moment that matters. We live in a world where men are taught to be admired for their strength, their status, their paycheck, their performance. But to be admired in stillness, to be seen in the softness of a moment, that's rare, that's intimate. And when it happens, it changes him. Imagine this, you're with him. It's quiet, intimate, his body relaxed, his guard down, maybe even a little unsure, and you lean in. Let your eyes trace him, not with hunger, but with honor. And you say, I just love looking at you. You'll see it. The way his shoulders drop, the way his breath deepens, because he's not used to that kind of gaze. Not from someone who matters. He's been desired, sure, maybe even objectified, but seen rarely. And in that moment, he doesn't just feel attractive. He feels wanted, not for what he can do, but for who he is. Carl Jung said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And sometimes that starts when someone else accepts you first. When someone reflects back to you the parts of yourself you never thought were worthy of being admired. And that's what you give him with this phrase. Like, I love looking at you. You're telling him you're enough, you're art. You're not just the one doing the holding. You're allowed to be held in my gaze too. So say it, and say it when he's laughing. Say it when he's quiet. Say it when he's on top of the world or laying there, vulnerable and undone. Because when a woman looks at a man like that and speaks from that place, he doesn't just feel seen, he remembers her. And the phrase coming next, that's the one that makes the moment eternal. Let's keep going. Number 7, I feel so close to you right now. There's a difference between being inside her body and being remembered by her soul. And when you look at him, eyes soft, energy open, and say, I feel so close to you right now, you don't just acknowledge the moment, you anchor it. This is the exhale, my friends. The pause after the fire, the phrase that turns heat into history, not the kind that fades, but the kind that stays. Because for a man who's truly present with you, who's not just chasing pleasure, but chasing presence, what he really wants beneath it all is to feel impact. He doesn't just want to do it right. He wants to know he reached you, touched something deeper, left something lasting. And this one sentence, it tells him, you did. You weren't just here physically. You weren't pretending. You weren't in your head. You were with him. And more than that, he brought you closer to yourself. Imagine this. The rhythm has slowed. His arms are around you. The silence is thick but sweet. And instead of moving on, instead of filling space, you lean into his chest and whisper, I feel so close to you right now. And just like that, you tell him everything he's been hoping to hear, that this wasn't just sensation, it was transformation. That's what Carl Jung meant when he said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Because that's what intimacy does when it's real. It leaves both people a little more whole than they were before. And here's the wild thing. This line might feel soft, might feel quiet, but it's soul thunder to a man who's emotionally available. It confirms he didn't just touch your body, he touched your being. So don't hold it back. Say it like you mean it. Say it like a thank you. Say it like a truth that needed to be spoken. I feel so close to you right now. That's not romance, that's remembrance. That's what makes a man come back, not just to your bed, but to you, because something about that moment felt eternal. So now you know when you say the right things, the moment becomes something neither of you wants to end. If this stirred your spirit, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep and flirty feminine wisdom, and share this with a woman who's ready to speak from her soul, not her script. And drop this in the comments, my words awaken him. Because girl, they do. Number 8, every part of me listens when you touch me like that. Now that's not just flirtation, my friend, and that's a woman speaking from her nervous system, not just her lips. That's a phrase that wraps itself around a man's spine and whispers, you're not just touching me, you're tuning me. Because let's be honest, anyone can touch your body, but it takes something rare, something felt for a man to touch your soul without saying a word. And when he does, every part of you wakes up and every cell goes still and leans in. Let me paint it for you. You're not saying this just to be sexy. You're saying it because your body is responding in ways your mind didn't script. Maybe it's the way his hand rests on your lower back instead of grabbing it. Maybe it's the way he traces your collarbone like he's reading Braille, not rushing to the headline. Maybe it's just the way his fingertips slow down instead of speeding up, like he's listening with his hands. And you feel it. You feel your guard drop, your breath shift, and your heart slow down and say, this right here is real. So when you whisper, every part of me listens when you touch me like that, you're not complimenting a move. You're praising the intention. You're telling him, I'm not just turned on, I'm tuned in. I'm not zoning out, I'm surrendering in. You're not just good at this, you're good for me in this moment. See that phrase? It's not about mechanics, it's about presence. And the reason it hits a man so hard is because deep down, he's hoping that his presence still matters, that he's not just checking boxes, that he's creating a response, and you just gave him proof. Now let's go deeper for a second. Carl Jung said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. That's what's happening here. This isn't just about desire. This is about alchemy. So say it in the moment. Say it with your breath against his neck. Say it like you mean it, because you do. And then watch what happens. Because a man who hears that, he won't just keep doing the same thing. He'll slow down even more. He'll tune in even deeper. He'll realize this isn't just physical anymore. This is spiritual. Let's be real. Performance might impress him, but presence, your presence, changes him. So the next time he's locked in, slow, aware, reverent, let that phrase drop like velvet. Every part of me listens when you touch me like that. He won't just remember it, he'll anchor to it.